So let's talk about Herman Melville's Moby Dick. Most people think of it as this grand sea adventure, but honestly, it's more of a misadventure. It's this deep, deep dive into one man's madness and a really haunting look at humanity's relentless and maybe futile attempt to dominate the natural world. So come on, let's chase this epic tale right into the depths. Right from the jump, even before setting foot on the ship, this is how our narrator, Ishmael, pictures the whale. Think about that. It's not just an animal to him, it's a phantom, a myth that's kind of floating around in his soul. And that one image, that right there, tells you everything. This voyage isn't going to be about money. Nope, it's going to be about something way, way deeper. Okay, so before we get to all that phantom stuff, we need to get grounded in reality for a second. Because this whole story is set against the backdrop of a huge, powerful, and very real industry. And it all starts in Nantucket, which was basically the capital of the entire whaling world back in the 19th century. I mean, can you even imagine the sheer scale of this thing? Back in the 1840s, American whaling wasn't just an industry. It was a global superpower. It was like its own private navy. We're talking over 700 ships sailing all over the globe, hunting whales to literally light up the country and fuel its industries. And Nantucket, that was ground zero, the heart of it all. And you have to understand, these sailors didn't see themselves as just fishermen. No way. They were conquerors. To them, the ocean wasn't some big mystery. It was their property. Like a plantation, a territory they could own and harvest. And that mindset, it's absolutely crucial to understanding this story. So our story unfolds on one of these whaling ships, the Pequod. But right away, this ship is different. It just looks savage. It's decked out in the bones and teeth of whales, almost like they're trophies. It's a huge hint that this ship is about more than just making money. So Ishmael, our narrator, he signs on with the rest of the crew thinking, hey, this is a pretty standard gig. A 3-year voyage, hunt some whales, get paid. They're just looking for some adventure and a paycheck. They have absolutely no idea that their captain, this mysterious guy named Ahab, well, he has a totally different mission in mind. So they get out to sea, and that's when Captain Ahab finally shows his hand. He reveals what this whole trip is really about. And let me tell you, it is not a commercial voyage. It's a personal vendetta. He actually nails a gold coin to the ship's mast and offers it as a prize to whoever first spots one very specific white whale, the whale that took his leg. This, my friends, is a hunt for Moby Dick. Now, to really get inside Ahab's head, there's one word you absolutely have to know: monomaniac. It means he is completely, utterly consumed by one single idea. And for Ahab, that idea is revenge on the white whale. This obsession is so powerful, it's pushed everything else out of the way. Reason? Gone. Safety? Doesn't matter. Profit? Who cares? He's even willing to sacrifice his entire crew. So you can imagine this creates a massive conflict on the ship. You've got the first mate, Starbuck, who's a practical, no-nonsense guy. He looks at Moby Dick and sees, well, a dumb animal. He thinks chasing it for revenge is not only bad for business, it's just plain wrong. But Ahab, for him, the whale isn't an animal at all. He sees it as a mask, the physical form of every evil, hateful thing in the entire universe. And he believes his purpose is to strike right through that mask.
Thing is, Ahab's not totally alone in thinking this whale is something more. Moby Dick has a reputation. A big one. He's a legend, the kind of story that whalers whisper to each other on long, dark nights at sea.
I mean, the stories these sailors tell about him sound absolutely impossible. They swear he's ubiquitous, that he's been spotted in totally different oceans at the exact same time. How is that even possible? They say he's immortal, that he survives every single attack, that his skin is just this twisted mass of broken harpoons. And here's the really terrifying part. They believe he's intelligent, that when he attacks, it's not random, it's calculated, it's driven by a pure, vicious rage. So, after this incredibly long, obsessive journey, following charts and rumors, the Pequod finally finds him. They reach Moby Dick's home turf, the lookout screams, "There she blows!" And the final, epic, and absolutely catastrophic showdown begins. And this isn't a quick fight, it's a brutal 3-day chase. Day 1, Moby Dick doesn't run, he turns and attacks, and just smashes Ahab's personal whaleboat to pieces.
Day 2. The hunt is on again, but the whale is even more ferocious. He wrecks more boats, and this time he kills one of Ahab's men. Then comes Day 3. Ahab finally gets his shot. He lands his harpoon. But just as he thinks he's won, the harpoon line snaps tight, wraps right around his neck, and he's yanked out of the boat, dragged to his death. All while Moby Dick turns and rams the Pequod, sinking the entire ship. So in the middle of the ocean, there's just this swirling vortex where the ship used to be. The quest, this one man's obsession, has come to its only possible end, total destruction. Everyone and everything is gone, except for one person. And the final contrast between Ahab and Ishmael is just so stark. Ahab is literally killed by his own weapon of revenge, dragged down into the sea by the very obsession that fueled him. But Ishmael, he survives. And how does he survive? He floats to safety on a coffin that his friend Pequod had made. Just think about that symbolism. A coffin, the ultimate symbol of death, becomes a life raft. It's what allows him to be saved and to live to tell the tale. So what does it all mean? In the end, Moby Dick, the whale, seems to represent something huge and, well, untamable. You could say he is nature, just this massive, powerful, and completely indifferent force, something we can never truly understand. And Ahab's crazy hunt? It becomes a symbol for all of humanity's rage against the things we can't control, the parts of the universe we can't beat and can't even begin to comprehend. And all of this leaves us with the great, lingering question of the whole book. Was the white whale really an intelligent, evil monster bent on destruction, or was he just a big animal, a force of nature that Captain Ahab used as a giant blank screen to project all of his own madness and anger onto? What's the real answer? Well, just like the whale himself, it's always just a little bit out of reach.